everyone, this is Pat Mesiti live at 5. Well, today I got some clips I want to show you, and you be the judge. Now, our great friends in Victoria still under lockdown in Woke-toria or Broke-toria, and I don't mean that to be nasty. Fact, it is a fact. I mean that out of concern and fear, like just talking to leaders yesterday in Victoria breaks my heart. But hey, you know what? We've got a pandemic on our hands. Let me tell you something. Victoria is not in a state of emergency. Victoria is in a state of an ineptitude government and a dictatorial despot and a health advisor who's a complete imbecile. I'm sorry. I don't know what qualifies these people. I mean, we've got our own one up here in Queensland, but that one down there in Melbourne takes a cake. And I'm gonna, we'll kind of prove it to you today. And I am open. This is not personal. This is not a personal attack. But when a state premier consistently blames the people, consistently, this guy couldn't organise a booze up in a brewery. Well, you can't. Well, actually, he's locked out. You can't even do that right now. And I realise that sometimes my language is a little bit forceful and definitely very emotive, but I'm passionate. I'm Italian. That's my excuse. Okay. For those of you that are woke people, you will all agree with me on my ability to express myself as much as, because this is what I am. I'm Italian, so I'm allowed to do that. And especially nowadays, you can do whatever you want almost under the culture of woke. But anyway, what is the answer to the stake up? And I realise I'm a little bit late on this one, but my great friend, James McPherson, who runs a podcast called The Good Source, and James is brilliant. If you don't get his podcast, you need to get it. He's satirical, he's funny, but he's insightful, and I've asked him to come on this program. But he highlights an ad paid for by the Victorian people. The Victorian leader, along with Bretty, decided that for the answer for COVID, for the answer for lockdown, is to send in the most moronic character on Australian television, Sharon from Kath and Kim, and you know, or in real life, Magda, as we call her. Oh, that's not what we call her. That's her real name, Magda. To come up with an advertisement. Now, listen to this ad. Listen to this ad. I find it offensive, patriotic, and insulting to the intelligence, not of just of Victorians, but to all Australians. And please don't tell me I don't have a sense of humour. I'll build my life on humour. But this is complete stupidity gone mad. And then I'm going to tell you what some of these morons tweeted on their Twitter account, taking time out from a pandemic, and what they said. Jonathan, let's run the video.
Oh, Sharon, what are you doing? Oh, I can't help it, it's my carpal tunnel. I am subbing you off. I tell you what, I am so over this lockdown. Playing netball against yourself is not all it's cracked up to be, especially when you still can't even win. But you know what? It's not the lockdown that's the enemy, it's the virus. And the sooner we obey the rules, the sooner this will all be over and we can get back to the stuff that really matters. Nettie. Subbing myself back in now. Oh no, Sharon, you're hopeless. I am not hopeless. I'm the most valued member of this team.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
Well, there you have it, folks. We have Sharon out there playing netball against herself. And she sits down in exasperation with a mask on her face. I'll have more to say about masks in a minute. And exasperated says, I'm over this lockdown. There's nothing more exasperating than playing a netball against yourself and still not being able to win. And then there's this little pregnant pause, which is there for comic effect, as my friend James McPherson says. And she says, but the real enemy is not the lockdown. It's the virus. Magda, Sharon, let me enlighten you. The real enemy is complete falsified medical information The real enemy is a dictator who's drunk on power. The real enemy is Brett Sutton, because he admitted that the deaths have got very little to do with COVID. And sadly, you're insulting the intelligence of people in Melbourne. The enemy is the virus. And then, in a serious tone, the most moronic character on Australian television gives us a tut, tut, tut. And as soon as we get back to obeying the rules, we can get back to what's really important. Stop. Firstly, who broke the rules? We are being admonished to get back to the rules, get back in line, get back to your home detention, get back to your quarantine. As soon as you naughty people in Melbourne obey the rules. Let me tell you who broke the rules. The union-driven Victorian despot, the union-driven Victorian dictator, the man that will not answer direct questions, the man that outwardly lied in inquiries. Let me tell you who the enemy is, and let me tell you who broke the rules. It was not the good people of Victoria. It was the security people that the Victorian government paid. The union-driven, that's who broke the rules. Magda, who, by the way, said she wrote the script as if she's proud of the script, and she would have done it for any of you guys, meaning us, the Liberal Party, under the guise of science. There is no science here. The science shows that 99% of people get over this virus, or 99% of people get over the virus, and 99% of people are mild symptoms. There is no science here. It's fear, it's dread, it's terror, it's control. So, Magda, number one, the virus is not our enemy. The enemy of the people is the man running it. Number two, the people didn't break the rules. And number three, we can get back to what's really important. Now, you'd expect at this point that a state who is, if it was a corporation, be bankrupt. A state, important, you expect to say, well, we can get back to our families, we can get back to our weddings, we can get back to our jobs, we can get back to Nettie. Is this supposed to be funny? Oh, wait, it gets better. Brett Sutton. This is the guy in charge. This is the guy that advises Dictator Dan. This is what he tweets. Takes the time out from his pandemic and says, nice work, Sharon. Signed, Bretty. Hey, Brett. Brett, listen to me. You're supposed to be a statesman, not a moron. Now, Bretty is another character in Kath and Kim, but those of you that know that. Bretty. Are you serious, mate? Get a life. And then, of course, the Victorian Police Department, because in the ad, Sharon subbies her way back in and calls herself the MVP of the team. Most valuable propagandist. Most valuable propagandist. That's what I think it might mean. The Victorian Police, the Twitter account says, you'll always be our MVP, Sharon. That's so funny. I don't know what the latest lockdown laws are in Victoria, but maybe they've commissioned the cops to go around knocking on doors, making sure that the good people of Victoria are laughing at this ad. And of course, why wouldn't they laugh? Oh my God. They've got a girl there wearing a mask. In a minute, I'm going to show you that the masks don't work, and they said it themselves. Why wouldn't they laugh? Because you've got a girl playing netball, which you're not allowed to do, correcting you for what you haven't done. And guess what? You're paying for this, people of Victoria. Your taxes paid for this. You're not Dan's increase in his wage that he gave himself. Your taxes, the money you're not able to earn right now. If it wasn't so stupid and so awful, you could call it a sad joke. You know, I don't know when this madness is going to end, but let me just show you again for the record. And by the way, Magda says she would write this for you guys, us, if we were in power, the Liberals, or us, right wing, if you want to call us, that she would do the same. Well, first of all, we probably wouldn't ask you, and then she says on a health and scientifically based. She would do it for a scientifically or health-based issue. This is not a health-based issue. This is a political issue. I'm not denying that COVID-19 doesn't exist. I'm denying and fighting the rhetoric that we're being told. And that the bills are being sent to the good people of Victoria and, by the way, Australia, I might add, because we're supposed to be in this together. Yes, well, our GST is all in there together. But have a look at what Brett Sutton said. I want to remind you what he said about the deaths in Victoria. Can we run that, Jonathan?
Verifying that the actual cause of death, mortality?
Not necessarily. So for deaths from coronavirus, anyone who's a confirmed case who dies is classified amongst coronavirus deaths. So it doesn't have to be definitively from coronavirus. And in some instances, in aged care, there would have been some residents who were already receiving palliative care who became infected with coronavirus. So it's not definitive about whether they've died with or from coronavirus. I think it's fair to say that coronavirus is a very serious infection in anyone in aged care. But for classification purposes and reporting purposes, that's the definition.
Well, there you have it. Now, the deaths are not COVID-19, but, if you're kind of in the vicinity of Brett, you're talking to people with a brain here. You're not talking to Sharon or Kath and Kim. Why do you insult the intelligence of people? You treat us like we are fools. We actually are learning right now something in Australia. We're learning to despise, and that's not a good thing, I might add, people who we're supposed to admire. And I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about medical experts. You're lying, son. You're a liar. You are, actually, no, in this case, you're telling the truth, but you're a liar. Your models were wrong. Your statistics are wrong. Your fear-mongering is wrong. You are part of a hypocrisy. To the issue of health and masks, here is the words of Dictator Dan and the World Health Organization. Have a listen to this video.
Healthy people are being warned against using face masks to protect themselves against the virus. As Justine Conway explains, experts fear incorrect use could lead to more infection.
It's becoming commonplace. On the streets and in supermarkets, people are increasingly wearing face masks, just as a precaution.
Wearing masks like that is wasting a mask. That's a mask that won't be available when it's actually needed.
The state government's advice on wearing face masks is in line with the World Health Organization. Under its guidelines, masks should only be worn if you have a cough, fever and difficulty breathing, or if you are healthy and taking care of someone with these symptoms, and or someone with a confirmed case of COVID-19.
If you do not have these symptoms, you do not have to wear masks, because there is no evidence that they protect people who are not sick.
Dictator Dan, Captain Dan, you told us it was a waste of a mask. World Health Organization says unless you're sick, got COVID, or basically unwell, masks don't work. Again, I'm more confused than a termite in a yo-yo. Which one is it? Let me go back. Brett, are people dying of COVID? Yes or no? Simple answer. Or are they dying other ailments and they just happen to have got COVID, of which 99% are mild, of which 99% of people recover. Dan, you're lying again, mate. Yeah, you got to remember this stuff's recorded. You can't expect people to respect and value you when you publicly tell them it's a waste of a good mask until we really need it. And then the organization that your comrades in China support, which they don't really support, we pay them more than the Chinese, by the way, tell us we don't need to wear a mask. Lockdowns don't work. 3 countries for you: Taiwan, Sweden, Switzerland. Do you know what they did? They protected the elderly and they let people go to work. No lockdowns, no shutdowns, no communist regimes. And by the way, China is the closest nation, Taiwan, closest nation to China. People, we are being duped. We're being lied to. We're being played. This is about winning political points, not about the safety of the elderly, the safety of the vulnerable, and then to use a character to scold us. The most moronic character. And by the way, I love Kath and Kim. My wife and I, we love Kath and Kim. You know, we do. I think it's fun. I think it's hilarious. I think Magda's a very gifted comedian. She's a genius. But this is not time for that. Do you know, one day in the good book, Moses basically told the people of Israel, Moses told Pharaoh, let my people go. And the Pharaoh refused. And when the Pharaoh refused, the plagues came. Your refusal, Dictator Dan, to let the people go is unleashing a hell of a lot of plagues that are far worse than this phantom virus that you hold so dearly like a teddy bear to secure or try to secure your political future and money from a regime that is our enemy. I thank God for Scott Morrison. Even though I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things with him, I thank God for him. At least now he's starting to say, hey, we're going to shut down some of this initiatives in the Chinese, from the Chinese, and some of this business deals they want to do with us. Dictator Dan, Comrade Dan, have some respect for the people of Victoria, for their intelligence, for their heart. Don't do this. And as soon as you obey the rules, Dan, you obey the rules. This is Pat Mesiti. You have a prosperous life.